On behalf of Dinie and myself, I would like to take this opportunity to wish each and every one of you a happy, sweet, meaningful, inspiring, and uplifting Passover. I want to share with you 3 images. The first one is the Jewish people are leaving Egypt. Everyone is ready to leave, packing up, taking the dough on their back. But what do the women do? They take their tambourines. When the Jewish people crossed the sea, the men sang a song of praise to God, but the women took out their tambourines. And our rabbis say this was the faith of the women, that they knew that they would be saved miraculously, and they prepared in advance their musical instruments to express their joy and gratitude to God. The second image is one that my son-in-law, Rabbi Minsky, shared on Shabbat. He talked about his great-grandfather, Rabbi Nissim Nemenov, who was arrested in Russia for being a rabbi and sent to Siberia. And in Siberia, Passover came, and he had no wine. So what did he do? He took snow and melted it into a cup and drank 4 cups of water instead of 4 cups of wine. And he didn't have matzah, so he ate some potatoes. But he recited the entire Haggadah. Today, Rabbi Nissim Nemenov has over 1,000 descendants that live on as proud Jews, while the Russian Empire and communism has crumbled. And finally, imagine if you can go back in time, 33 centuries, and meet Pharaoh in Egypt, and say to Pharaoh, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that one of the civilizations will survive. The bad news is that it won't be the Egyptians, it would be the Jews. Imagine Pharaoh would say, you must be insane. Look, the Jews are my slaves, they're building the pyramids. That's impossible. I'm the mightiest king and the mightiest empire in the world. But here we are, 33 centuries later. Ancient Egypt is gone, but the Jewish people, our values, our traditions live on till today. How did we do this? And the answer is very profound. You see, other civilizations wanted to outlive themselves and have immortality. And the way they tried to gain immortality was by building memorials, edifices, pyramids that will withstand the sands and wind of time. And they were successful. The pyramids still stand today. But their values, their culture, their civilization is gone. The Jewish people never tried to gain immortality by building physical buildings with bricks and mortar. The way we gain immortality is by doing what we do tonight for 3,300 years, teaching our children our story, our identity, our values, our morals and ethics. And then our children become the conveyors of our beliefs that crosses all the generations. And therefore, tonight, the mitzvah of Passover is to speak to the heart and the soul of your child. Tell them their own story. Tell them that they are part of a miracle, that they are a living miracle. And that's the way we gain immortality. And that's why all the mighty, powerful regimes and civilizations that have oppressed the Jews are all gone, and we live on today. It's all about teaching our children what we believe, what our faith and our values are all about. As we go into this Passover, in addition to the 133 hostages in Gaza, we're also thinking about what's going on college campuses, what has been going on at Columbia University, what has been going on at Yale University, where this Saturday night, a pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas terrorist poked a Jewish student in the eye with their Palestinian flag. And we look around, and on the one hand, we could be very dismayed and discouraged to see the deterioration of our American value system, not just the pro-Hamas demonstrators who are chanting, "We are Hamas," on American campuses, supporting a barbaric evil regime that committed the worst atrocities on October 7th, but by the silence of the university leaders who are not stepping in to stop this. Why? Because the victims are Jews and Israel. On the other hand, the story of Passover reminds us, and these demonstrations show us what happens when we don't teach our children our values. When children grow up without an identity, without an understanding of right and wrong, of morality and immorality, of good and evil, then they turn into these ignorant, hating, anti-Semitic students. And that should encourage us even more to seize this night of Passover, particularly in this year, to sit with our children and grandchildren and make sure that our children don't ever look like these confused children who don't know between right and wrong. That our children continue to carry our message of redemption, of hope for humanity, of goodness in the face of evil, of faith in the face of fear, of love in the face of hatred. That is the way we live on for all the generations. And tell your children that they are part of the miracle of the Jewish people. Chag Sameach. We look forward to seeing you if you're in Palm Beach over the Chag. And may we all be blessed with personal redemption and redemption of the Jewish people from our enemies, and the freedom to see all of our hostages home in the loving embrace of their families. Chag Sameach.